Hello, I'm Miriam Gedwiser. I teach here at Drisha. In Parashat Bo, we read of the final 3 plagues, the first mitzvah to the Jews as a nation, and the moment we've all been waiting for, the Exodus itself. I want to focus on one short exchange between Moshe and Paro at the beginning of the Parsha. In chapter 10, verse 8, after Paro's advisors have basically admonished him that his refusal to let the Jews go is actually to Egypt's detriment, Paro calls Moshe and Aaron, who had just threatened him with the plague of Arba, of locusts, back, and tells them that they may go worship God. Vayushav et Moshe et Aaron el Paro, vayomer aleichem, lechu ibdu et Hashem Elokeichem, right? Go serve God, with just one question: Mi v'mi ha'holchim? Who is going to go? A midrash, which is attested in various Rishonim, though not of clear provenance other than that, understands the phrase mi v'mi, literally who and who, as referring to 2 specific whos, namely Caleb and Yehoshua, who were the only 2 people who both left Egypt and entered the land of Israel. According to this midrash, Paro foresaw through astrology that only 2 Israelites would enter the land, and therefore expected Moshe to answer that some small subset, maybe even only 2 people, would be going to serve God. Moshe's response then must have been a shock when he said, "B'na'areinu v'zkenenu nelech, v'vanenu v'vnotenu v'tzonenu v'vkarenu nelech ki chag Hashem lanu." Right? We will leave young and old, sons and daughters, all our livestock, because it is a festival of God for us. Paro responds with skepticism. Vayomer aleichem yichichen Adonai imachem kasher shalachatchem v'etavchem re'u ki ra'a neged pneichem. He said to them, "So be the Lord with you, as I will let you go and your little ones see that evil is before your face." A somewhat ambiguous phrase could mean maybe either that you have evil intentions or evil will befall you in the desert. 2 possibilities. There are others as well. Lochein, so Paro says, no, that doesn't work, right? Lochein, lechuna hagvarim v'ivdu et Hashem, right? Only the men should go, they will serve God. Ki ota atem mevakshim, that's what you're really asking for. V'geresh otam made pnei Paro, and Paro kicked them out of his presence. Or they were driven out. Paro's response is, on a surface level, a little bit strange. Paro tells Moshe that what you really want is for the men to go, but Moshe himself just explicitly said, no, I want our whole nation to go. What does Paro mean? At the same time, Paro's response makes some amount of sense given what we know about the festivals and the pilgrimages later in the Bible, which is that they're incumbent on adult men only. And we may also be reminded that when the Bnei Israel, the literal sons of Yaakov, went to bury him the end of Sefer Bereshit, they voluntarily left their children who had no explicit ritual tasks in Egypt. So with that in mind, how does Ki Chag Hashem Lanu, right, we have a festival for God, explain why Moshe wishes to bring everyone, including children and women and animals, well, animals separate, but why Moshe wishes to bring everyone out? One possibility is that Moshe and Paro are engaged in some sort of a diplomatic negotiation where they both know that the real object here is not a short holiday in the desert, but some sort of all-out exodus of the Jews, never to return. This fits with understanding that when Paro says, Ki ra'a neged pneichem, right, there's evil in front of your face, he means you have evil intentions, i.e. you're not planning to do what you say you're planning to do, you're really planning to just leave. This raises a large question for another time of why Moshe approaches Paro with this request of, oh, let us go worship for 3 days, if that's not really the plan. Why doesn't Moshe just say what we sort of usually think of, let my people go, let us go forever? For another time, as I said. Bravanel offers another explanation of Paro and Moshe's discussion regarding who should go. According to Bravanel, Moshe's stated reason for as a festival of the Lord for us does explain why everyone needs to go. Ki chag Hashem lanu v'nitzarech tzonu v'kar lizvach, right? Because it is a festival for God, we're going to need our animals for sacrifices. Uvanim uvanot lismoach, we're going to need our children to be happy, to celebrate. V'nar v'zaken la'avod, and old and young men, presumably, to do the actual worship. When Paro assumes that only those who will participate in the actual rituals need to go, Moshe argues that a true festival includes not just the technical performance of rituals, but the celebration of the entire community. As another midrash notes, Moshe wants all the Jews to go because just as they all are subjugated to Paro, they should all serve God. We can now suggest that the heart of Moshe and Paro's disagreement in the passage is this. Paro is willing to concede that the Jews may go and serve God, but only those Jews who will technically engage in service. Moshe insists, no, the entire nation must go to celebrate, to be freed from Paro's all-encompassing control, all-encompassing dominion into God's. Right? It's this suggestion that Paro resists. For even if the Jews were to return, which he may suspect they will not, the very possibility of the entire people celebrating experiencing a break from the requirements of service and avodah to paro for a simple chagiga, gives them a taste of true freedom and undermines their subordinate status, what some might call the slave mentality. If we return for a moment to the midrash I began with, or as quoted at the beginning, the Paro foresaw that only 2 Jews would enter Israel, which is part of a larger genre of midrashim that see certain of Paro's evil actions as motivated by astrological predictions. Paro saw that a boy would be born, and that's why he wanted the boys to be thrown in the river. Paro sort of was always trying to predict things and stay one step ahead of the Jews. We can perhaps add that Paro stands for some attempt at control, right? To control the entire Jewish people. Even when he's willing to allow some subset out for a discrete task, he can't abide the thought that the rest of the people would go for celebration without particular responsibilities, and also to control the future by prediction. Leaving Egypt is in some sense an escape from this need to predict and control into a world of possibility and newness. The world whose first mitzvah is in fact HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem. Right, this is the first month, literally, but also, as the Sfas Emes points out, this mitzvah, it ushers of HaChodesh Hazeh Lachem, ushers in a period where chidush is possible. Shabbat Shalom.